Patriots. Let's focus on what they're doing offensively. Mike Reese of ESPN.com, who does a great job covering that team. He does it as well as anyone. He's got a Sunday notes column that is exhaustive and comprehensive. And then from time to time, you'll see on his Twitter feed, he'll just kind of empty the notebook from anything that he's been tracking at practice. A really good insight into what's happening with the Patriots. And one thing that's happening there, Josh McDaniels, obviously he's gone. He's now the head coach of the Raiders. They're changing the offense post-McDaniels. And I get the impression, Chris, that they've just had this bloated, it's like George Costanza's wallet. It's this big bloated thing that they keep cramming stuff into, and they've decided to thin out the wallet this year and simplify things because it had become this behemoth that no one could learn.
Well, I don't doubt that. I don't know. There's a part of me, too, that maybe the offense isn't going to be quite as thick or intricate or have many as details because you're losing the brain that teaches it all, too. To me, this is one of the biggest stories in football. And really, we could talk about the Bills a little bit later on, too. But, yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder what to think about the New England Patriots. Listen, I understand they're going to be good, but how good? Can they get back to the playoffs? I'm on the fence with that a little bit just because of that situation. And not that I don't have great respect for Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. I think they're really good coaches. You know that, Mike. You know I respect them. But I'm not sure they're ready to call and do offensive game plans right away here in year one and lead Mac Jones and company, through the AFC, which we know is stacked, and go to the playoffs. So to me, this is one of the biggest questions in the game this year. There's no question. I mean, you and I both agree, whatever we want to think about Josh McDaniels, the head coach, okay, I know that was a failed experiment the first time around. I don't think it will be this time around. He is, as an offensive mind, in the class of the best in the game over the last 16, 17 years. In my opinion, he's up there with the Sean Paytons and the Andy Reids and the McVays and the Shanahans. To me, he's in that class. So I don't care who you are, what team you are. You got Bill Belichick coaching you or Vince Lombardi coaching you. When you lose that type of guy on your staff, I got to think there's going to be a little bit of a drop-off on that side of the ball.
Here's the key quote from Mike Reese's report from Sunday. The primary motivation for the change to the offense, according to those familiar with Belichick's thinking, was to make it easier on players. The volume of the old system had grown so much over 20-plus years, with Tom Brady a huge part of it, and then specific Cam Newton-based wrinkles in 2020 adding another layer to navigate, so the time seemed right to streamline. Altering verbiage is arguably the most significant part of the change. Yeah. Many things no longer carry the same meaning. How hard is it, Chris?
Yes.
To learn that new language? It's still English, obviously, but it's a significant alteration if they have indeed made this change to verbiage. It's a lot of stuff you got to learn. The words and the numbers and the letters that you used to use don't mean the same thing or aren't even part of the words, the numbers, and letters that you're using now to call your most basic plays.
Yeah, no, Mike, we've discussed this before, right? I mean, I've told you that it's one of those offenses. It's one of the hardest to learn in the game. And the language, even before this change here, it's different than most of the NFL. I mean, I had a little laugh with Derek Carr in the pregame of the Hall of Fame just because he was in the Gruden offense like I was, and now you're using plays where, hey, in Gruden's offense, the West Coast offense, the one play, if there was a tight end to the right and the receiver to the right and two receivers to the left, we called it double wing right. In the New England system, it's zero out slot, okay? And it's numbered system. Three tight end and two receivers is zero hole, and it's so quarterbacks and people get there and they're like, whoa, I've never had plays called this way, and then they combine words to explain the passing concept. So it is a little different, and I think that's probably why Belichick's streamlining this. He's got some younger players on the football team, and I think they've probably realized over the few years here that free agents who come in there have a hard time picking up that offense real quick because it is so different. And I think there's a lot of teams that are trying to do this type of stuff and streamline for the players because of the current state of the game and guys changing teams so much. So I can understand that. I really can. Tom Brady's as smart as they come. You and I both know that. And even he had to wear that damn wristband and read the play at times because the plays could be so long. And then if it was a double play called or something of that nature, I mean, you could be sitting there forever spitting this out or trying to remember exactly how it goes. So it's probably a good thing New England's streamlining the language. That's one thing I would say for sure.
I'm curious as to how a normal quarterback would go about learning the new language. I'll have to settle for you. How would you go about seriously, I mean, what does it look like? What do you do? How do you learn this?
Sure.
It really, like, there's not a Rosetta Stone out there that you can get to learn a new offense. What do you do?
You go back to the basics, Mike. Like, you first off, you learn through the meetings, and you're talking it and hearing it all the time that way. But the other thing you got to do, and this is what I did when I got into that offense in Denver with McDaniels and Kyle Orton, the quarterback, you got to start writing the plays out. You literally got to be almost like a little kid and go, oh, wait, here's the game plan this week. Okay, let me write the play in words, and now let me draw the play like a little kid and X's and zeros and O's and do that and draw the patterns that way, and you try to learn that way. That's what I did, let alone, hey, you're going to be sitting in some free time just looking at the book and studying and try to remember it that way. But I'm a guy that, talking, and when I write it down, I can really absorb it that way. And I think that's, one way I saw a lot of quarterbacks through my times kind of take that approach. I stole that from guys I was around in my younger years. So it does take some time, but yeah, you almost got to be that kid that's like, in 7th grade geometry where, okay, I got to sit down and write the work out and really try to, put my head around that. And that's kind of how you do it. And then you go from there and you try to talk the language all the time, and slowly but surely through osmosis, it kind of starts to bake into your brain.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.